You want to know the fastest way to destroy your freelance business? I'm going to tell it to you. It's not bad work. It's these 5 client mistakes that bury freelancers every single day. I'm Karam, the 20-year battle-tested lawyer who's defended freelancers in client disputes, fought over unpaid invoices. I've watched talented people lose everything because they made these exact mistakes and they didn't have the right contracts. It's a big mess that you're going to avoid because here's what I'm going to show you today. It's the 5 deadly client mistakes that wreck freelancers, creators, anyone out there hustling on their own. They're the losing recipe is what I call it. And I've seen these destroy businesses for 20 years. So all 5 of these mistakes can be prevented. So let's go. So here's the unfortunate pattern, right? Most freelancers start with great skills and good intentions. They want to serve clients well, deliver amazing work, build relationships. Then they get blindsided. The client doesn't want to pay, demands unlimited revisions, disputes the entire invoice, threatens to sue. They get nasty really quick, and the freelancer has no defense because they made one of these 5 deadly mistakes, and it always goes sour with clients because they're one of the 5 deadly enemies that I teach about in my system for business defense. That's another video, but here we go. These are the 5 mistakes that destroy freelancers, right? Most of you are making at least 3 of them right now. I hope not, but we're gonna fix them. Deadly mistake number 1 is having the wrong mindset, being too trusting. This is the biggest mistake because it causes all the others. It leaves you vulnerable. You have the wrong mindset about clients and business. You're too trusting. You think everything's cupcakes, unicorns. You think business is about being friendly and helpful, right? You focus on sales, marketing, growth, the offensive side, but you never think about defense. You never look at the cup half empty. You never ask, what if this goes wrong? What if this client turns toxic, right? So here's what this mindset looks like. You assume that clients will be reasonable, fair, they're your friends, right? You trust handshake deals and verbal agreements. You think legal protection is too expensive or too negative, or it'll never happen to me, right? You never establish a relationship with an experienced lawyer. You don't think it's worth it. I don't know why. You don't have a trusted mentor who's seen the mistakes and liabilities in your industry that can help you prevent them, right? And this isn't your fault. Most people operate this way. It's natural, but it's where you get hurt and lose, and that's why so many lose. How do you fix it? You have to shift your mindset from offense to defense. You have to understand that clients can be one of your 5 enemies. You have to have a battle-tested lawyer in your corner who can mentor you, give you hard advice, help you avoid the disasters, right? See those red flags and tell you about them, because that's what experienced mentorship is all about. Not many mentors teach this. They teach sales and marketing. This mindset shift, though, prevents all the other mistakes. And without this, nothing else matters because defense wins championship. Deadly mistake number 2, no written contract or just a really weak contract, right? This mistake is a product of a trusting mind. You're being too friendly, too informal, too unprofessional, to be honest. Let's just start and I'll pay you after. We don't need a contract. I trust you. Just send me an invoice when you're done. Nope, that's not good business. That's how you end up chasing invoices for months. That's how clients turn toxic, and it's your fault. That's how you work for free. Now, the reality is DMs aren't contracts. Emails aren't even contracts. Handshake deals aren't contracts. They're a pain in the ass to enforce. Every single client engagement needs a written agreement, scope, payment terms, revision limits, dispute resolution, IP ownership, all of that stuff, termination clauses. The obligation is on you because you're the professional business and they're the consumer. And if you don't have provisions in your contract, they're going to be interpreted against you. Now, the truth is, contracts create relationships. They set clear expectations. They make you look professional instead of desperate. So use contracts, use battle-tested contracts. They're going to be your best friend, not your worst enemy like the rest of the entrepreneurs. Now, deadly mistake number 3 is having a weak client management system. This is all about understanding your clients can be your enemy, like I said. And because they can be your enemy, you have to identify the red flags that will show you that your clients are going to be toxic. And you can't make the deadly mistakes that enable them, right? You can't have weak contracts that don't protect you. No standard operating procedures, terrible payment terms, no systems for handling client disputes. And I'm not just talking about contracts, you need SOPs. You have a system for sending out emails, for marketing. You need a system to deal with clients, to set the expectations properly from the beginning. And this is a result of having a defensive mindset, and it's going to save you from so many disputes and problems and liabilities. And that's what this is all about. Having bulletproof contracts with tight scope definitions, clear SOPs for onboarding, delivery, offboarding, even follow-up, promoting your business, professional boundaries are going to help you maintain trust and authority, avoid disputes, avoid toxic clients, avoid the deadly mistakes. So that's what it's all about. having proper client management. I'm not just talking about the sales end, on the defensive end. That's what corporations have. This is why having a lawyer mentor matters. They help you build these systems based on what actually protects you in disputes, and hopefully they've seen it in court. So deadly mistake number 4 is not being clear about your deliverables and the promises. You make claims and you overpromise, and that's a big, big problem. If you're not crystal clear with your client about what exactly you're delivering, what results you're promising versus what you're not, what's included versus what's extra, what IP they get, and what you retain, and remember the burden's on you, like what success looks like and how you'll measure it, why this creates problems. I'll tell you why this creates problems, because clients think you promised them results you never promised. They assume they own the IP you never gave them. They expect deliverables that were never in the scope or you didn't think you were giving them, right? They're disappointed with outcomes that you never guaranteed. And that's your problem, right? You say, I'll help you grow your social media. They think you guarantee 10,000 new followers. You meant you'd create a content strategy and that's it, right? Now they're demanding refunds because their expectations didn't match reality, and it's your fault, like I said. Now, don't worry, we can fix this, right? You have to be obsessively clear in your contracts and communications. You have to define exactly what they're getting, and most importantly, what's not included. Clarify IP ownership. Set realistic expectations about results. This prevents the confusion that leads to disputes, chargebacks, and bad reviews. Set conservative expectations and then over-deliver. Believe me, you'll win. Deadly mistake number 5, right, is not having an exit plan. Most freelancers never think about how client relationships end. They just assume everything will work out fine. I don't know what they think, right? And clients ghost, or they demand refunds, or they want you to continue working forever and you can't stop. Now you have no plan to stop it. So what do you need? Clear termination clauses in contracts. You need to define refund policies that are clear, right? You need preferably no refunds for work that's been delivered. Obviously. Dispute resolution procedures, offboarding process that protects both sides, and very important, right, rules for who owns what when the relationship ends, right? This applies to one-time projects when it's officially done, ongoing retainers, how does either side end it, long-term relationships, joint ventures, what happens after months or years, partnerships, collaborations. I've seen this all day in court. How do we get out of this partnership, especially when it goes sour? And most do, right? And this really matters because without exit plans, relationships that should end cleanly turn into legal nightmares. Disputes over final payments, fights over IP ownership, confusion about deliverables. You're gonna end up in litigation. So you need to build exit plans into every agreement from the start. Know how relationships end before they begin. This prevents the disasters that happen when freelancers and clients try to separate without clear terms. And believe me, you don't want to be in court for this because it's going to require experts. It gets horrible, and a judge decides your fate, not you. So here's what happens if you keep making these mistakes. Eventually, you work with a client who decides they're going to destroy you. They don't want to pay. They dispute everything, they threaten to sue, ruin your reputation, and you have no defense, right? Because you made one of those 5 deadly mistakes, you try to take them to court, it's just a nightmare. It's not gonna work out. But if you fix all these 5 things, bad clients can't hurt you. Disputes don't destroy you. You start to operate like a professional business instead of a vulnerable freelancer. You start to identify your enemies, you see the red flags, and you have a mentor by your side, and you feel protected. And honestly, you're like the top 1% of entrepreneurs because you have that mindset and system by your side. Now, what I just described before is the losing recipe, right? The wrong mindset, no contracts, weak client management, unclear deliverables, and no exit plans. Invert it, and you've got the winning playbook. Now that's what I've done. I've got a risk report and business defense plan that shows you exactly which of these mistakes you're making in your business is happening and how to fix it. Plus, I have a freelancer contract system with everything you need to protect yourself and have an amazing mentorship with me directly. All you gotta do is, if you like this content, please smash the like button and click below. Get yourself a risk report, business defense plan. Just requires you to answer some questions about your business, and I'll help you identify the risks, the threats, and the liabilities. It's what I would charge a private client on a one-on-one mastermind $7,500 for, but it's free for you. It's AI powered because I'm Karam, the 20-year battle-tested lawyer. And like I say, stay legally bulletproof.